government roles always plays a key role, but even people involvement and participation plays really to keep it successful in the long term. And that's a classic example to say, together we can reimagine and catalyze growth for a sustainable tomorrow. And just on this note, I would like to give a small example from my friend's personal life, actually. So, when I was in UK, my neighbor friends actually he had two trees in backyard. So, though he is the owner of the house and he has the trees, but he cannot cut those trees. There's a ash and oak tree, and because when he bought a house, he got a documentation for his house. Along with that, he got a special documentation from the government saying about those two trees he cannot touch. Even though they disturb whatever it is, doesn't matter. Only the council has to cut it down. So such a really remarkable, like it's a tree protection order or tree preservation order. So it is really making the government policies, but only that will be successful only with the people involvement and understanding and respecting the intent of the particular initiatives. So that's why I'm trying to refer earlier example with the boy who has really done. And also, just on this note, I would like to mention this particular sustainability for tomorrow can be possible with the innovation, with various types of industries, as is the right platform, with a combination of all types of industries are present here, the owners and industry leaders and experts present here. Where construction industry, as we see, this is as we are from construction industry, just I would like to touch base about a single word, because this particular industry really facilitates, as you have seen 17 goals, you need to equality and justification and education across availability opportunities. So construction industry gives an opportunity to all types of all types of skill set people. That could be a skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled. It is a very special industry which can really influence the economical and financial growth of a particular country or a nation. And like this, every industry has its own importance to build the sustainable world for tomorrow. So I think also on this note, I would like to emphasize, also I'm really impressed with the one initiative by Government of Telangana on, like actually for constructing a Bangaru Telangana to build, to make a reality. Bangaru Telangana, like have taken as part of, they have really defined a framework, clear framework, how these SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, can be achieved via institution called Murray Chandrashekar HRD Institute, where it really have set up the various parameters, the framework, clear goals, and that goals are set and target has been defined for the various industries, and there is a clear-cut, target-oriented, and the definition has been set. That's really, I think, which is aligning with the United Nations, but to the state level and also to the local and regional industry level. If at all that message really crosses, everyone can really make, if not all 17 goals, probably a couple of goals we can achieve that. So just on this occasion, just I would like to move on to, if at all in the similar lines, just moving on, right in this neighborhood where we are meeting today, we have Pranava Group. As we are constructing a sizable venture called One Hyderabad, and that is, I'm sure it's going to become a one iconic building in Hyderabad, because we are coming up with some kind of innovative and interesting, a way of elevations, etc. And because as we see, as part of apartments, as part of the progressive development, we had to really go to the apartment culture. But however, we cannot stop. It needs to go hand in hand. So as part of this evolution, we have taken and we have really rethought about it to build and contribute for this particular context and come up with a vertical gardens and green building concept. And we also certified IGBC Platinum pre-certified. So on this moment, what I'm trying to convey is that though we have the reality is very challenging, but still with right set of attitude or something, incentives, things we can really make it happen. And this is, I'm really happy to say, also bring another context. Actually, Mr. KTR Garu has emphasized in one of the CREDI Expo in a couple of years ago, saying Hyderabad, like actually construction industry and real estate people maybe have to improve on the elevations of the building. So in that context, my brother, Mr. Ravi Kumar Burugu, who is the founder and chairman of Pranava Group, has really taken very seriously and come up with some kind of one of the special elevations which can really bring some newness to the central Hyderabad. We would like to we have taken a refresh the profile of the central Hyderabad, because as it really has a relevance, because as we are getting new assembly and secretariat, many things are coming, but it is the right time for really refreshing the profile of the central Hyderabad, wherein all kinds of amenities can be available. So at this stage, maybe I would like to really say once again, as a collaboration between all parties, individuals, and government and industries, everyone together, industry experts, I think we can build a sustainable world for tomorrow. Thanks for giving this opportunity once again. Thank you.
Can I now request Mr. Rakesh Mishra, the Director of CCMB, for his address, please?
Honorable Minister Shri KTR ji, CII dignitaries on the dais and industry friends, it's an exceptional privilege for me to come and speak in front of this kind of gathering, which is not usual for me, but I think it reflects also the relevance of the new changes, new movement that is happening after this terrible pandemic. I'm saying after this terrible pandemic, although we are yet to reach that point, but I think the people like you are now going to play extremely important role when we are going to recalibrate many activities, many things, including the healthcare, which is the domain in which we work, and in many aspects of the healthcare, in the sense, the system, the industry, the new perspective that now is there for science and society, that science is much more useful in immediate requirement than we were thinking before. And another important thing that has emerged, which you are all going to play important role, is in the self-reliance of many things that we had become comfortable or complacent that even importing of those things can be all right, but we have seen that it can be even a national security issue at some times. The technology is that in 1 year, the kinds of changes that have taken place, the kind of constraints that we have gone through, has opened so many things, uncovered so many hidden abilities, possibilities, and talent in the society. That is just unbelievable what has happened. And I think this is the time to put into the proper use and take the momentum, the catalysis that has happened. This pandemic has really propelled a very unusual, very highly, more or less, you can say, indispensable requirement for the innovation and indigenization of things that we were not thinking before. So, for instance, during the early time of the pandemic, when we hardly had anything within the country to do the testing that was so crucial, which still is, but the only difference from them and now is now there is no limitation of testing resources. Most of the ingredients are now manufactured internally, and there is no shortage of testing kits. And that has happened because many entrepreneurs have responded to the need of the hour. They have worked beyond the regular limitations and really have delivered something which we will be very proud of. Most of the things like PPEs that were being imported Now India is one of the exporters of those. Many of these numbers and things I am not there to tell. You are far more informed about those things. But I'm just talking about the basic changes that have taken place. I'll just give a couple of examples from the small laboratories like CCMB, where as the pandemic came in, our students came and said that we use this virus in the lab, we do experiment with them. Now we will do the testing, we will grow the virus in the lab, and we will do experiment with this, and will help finding ways of better ways of detection, better ways of assaying the drugs and disinfectants and so on. That was amazing. These are not the people who are there as employees. They are there to do their PhDs, and they will go away after 4 or 5 years, most of them to other academic institutions abroad or sometimes in the industry. But that had really changed the whole scenario. These are the people who converted the labs into the testing laboratories, validation laboratories, repositories, and culturing the virus in the lab, so that we have been able to test over 100 new drugs and sanitation methods, which are now, and many of them are really, really promising, and many of them are with industry partners who are developing them further. These are students who could develop the methods to test where the method is cheaper, safer, and you have several fold higher throughput with the existing infrastructure. And now those have been adopted by Apollo Hospital Group, by Spice Health, and Merrill Diagnostics. Many others are interested and converting them into business opportunities. We have gone even to the extent that we are developing a technique with the help of Syngene, which is a biocon company, where 50,000 tests will be done in one go, and at as low a cost as 200 rupees. So I think in coming weeks this will be available. And these are the opportunities, these are the capabilities that are coming, and they will exist even beyond the COVID. And you can test entire battalion, entire unit, entire locality in one go. And we have supported more than a dozen entrepreneurs and startups within our small facilities where new technologies have come. For example, one startup has developed a technique to test antibody test of this virus for less than 50 rupees at a very large scale, and I'm sure it has been patented and soon it will reach the market. So these are the opportunities that are around, and when there is a requirement, when there is the need, then they come as a real established technologies and even commercializable things. Our students and with the help of sister institutions like ICT and Naini, we have developed many new technologies during this period, which I'm saying this because you can see the potential of institutions, academia, which have a lot more to contribute, and they have to do this because they are public funded and it's their responsibility. But anything that happens in the lab has no meaning in terms of their implementation unless industry comes forward and take it. Because most people who develop these, they don't go beyond the boundaries of their institutions. So that methods like surveying using sewage system, the parasite load or the infection load in the city, air surveillance to find out how much of the virus is there in the air, and then what we call as genomic surveillance, in which we can very carefully monitor if new variants are emerging anywhere and control it before it becomes a problem, which is extremely relevant in today's context. And even important thing is zoonotic surveillance, where we know that many of times parasites or viruses stay in the live in the wildlife, and if we interfere with wildlife, we encroach there, then we run the risk of bringing such pandemic kind of situation. We all know that this pandemic is outcome of our intrusion in the nature, and that's why there's something which is unusual has come into humans. And I was very happy to that this was amply emphasized in Mr. Rambabu's address, that we have to respect nature. And in his story, I'm very impressed that boy who made the phone call represents our society. That represents our future. That represents that we don't accept something which is not natural and which destroys our environment. That's something very inspiring and very interesting. I'll just make one more point that in terms of new opportunities that are appearing, healthcare is going to be extremely important. It was very important. It's a major economic sector, but now, as we all know, that is going to be much, much more than that. And one revolution, I would say, has come is the example by which we are now ready to deliver vaccine to the society in less than 1 year of time. Till few months ago, even I was skeptical about it, that there will be no vaccine, for this pandemic. But 2 weeks before the first anniversary of when the test was first infection was detected in India, we had 2 vaccines available to us. That is something remarkable, and very, very proud of. We are very proud of the Hyderabad system, the industry, the pharma, and the environment that the government provides, the support that and encouragement that it gave to the industry, that you have one of the finest vaccine that is available, which is produced in Hyderabad. And this is actually much more than a vaccine. It only shows that we have reached the technology where as complex solution as vaccine, which takes 8 or 10 years to come, can be delivered within a year. And now there are even more sophisticated technology called RNA vaccine that can be produced in very small infrastructure in a building like this space, and this can be moderated or modified based on the requirement or the new variant within 2-3 weeks, and with the small testing it can go for the public use. So that is now a new way of handling the disease system, how to preventing, because vaccine is the best solution. Drugs will come when we get infected, but the vaccine can prevent that from happening. And this new openings, another important component is the regulatory system has become very responsive and sensitive, thanks to the pressure from the government and of course from the public, that many things have been made faster, and you can now get many approvals done within a very short period of time. That within a period of time, having all safety approvals from the lab, and then the phase 1, 2, 3 trials and vaccine available is something is just remarkable. It's fantastic. So this unprecedented situation has given opportunities. It compelled us to work together, to work for indigenization, and many things are happening now. We are interacting with industry in very extensive way, and we are joining hands in a more proactive way with Rich, which most of you are aware of, which is bringing very, I will say, exceptional opportunity, exceptional networking for the big things to happen. And the things where we are involved in ensuring the quality, so help large-scale production and help in quality maintenance, so that the material that is made, I'm talking about healthcare and diagnostics items, which are mostly, even water, you will be surprised, is imported for many of these tests. This is ridiculous. We can make this, but now is the requirement and there's a compulsion, and then industry has responded. In few months' time, we have started an activity with Gate Foundation and Rich and CCMB. In few weeks' time, actually, we are going to announce that every single component of kit that is used for most of the diagnostic will be made indigenously, and we'll be very happy to know it will be made in Hyderabad. So, and I can't speak many details, but the mRNA vaccine that is produced by Pfizer, the essential components of this vaccine is supplied, exported from Hyderabad. I was so surprised that we are sitting here, but now we are aware of these things and we will put into use, and there is a requirement, there is a acceptance, and now there is enthusiasm from the industry side. So I think we are heading towards a accelerated growth, which will be providing innovative solutions, and substitute unnecessary exploitation that happens because we have to import things. So if you import, then you are going to get only what a country or a company is going to give you. But if you make yourself, then you can design it and make according to your need, according to your requirement, and you will not be forced. So I think we have realized that if we can send an object all the way up to Mars, then what I'm talking is actually trivial. So that's why I was very happy when I was contacted by CII to come and interact with you all. I think it is exceptionally exceptional opportunity for us to give new impetus, give new scope to biotechnology, to healthcare system, equipments, diagnostics, surveillance methods, which will not only help our society. As you see from the example of vaccine, it will help the rest of the world, because we are the intellectual power, the exceptional talent in our students that we can provide solution to nobody else can provide. And I look forward to working all of you, and it will be a pleasure to interact like this and pick up certain things and take them forward, and look forward to that. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mishra, for a very enlightening message, and also for for telling us the good things that are happening in Hyderabad, which gives us further pride in what goes on in our city. With that, may I request the Honorable Minister, Mr. KT Ramarao Garu, for his inaugural address.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you very much. I know your presidentship is only lasting for another couple of hours, so congratulations on a wonderful tenure. Congratulations on a job well done. Under your leadership, I think one of the most tumultuous years that we've witnessed in human history. You had to endure that, but unlike President Trump, you've done well for yourself. We can all applaud you on that. Thank you, Mishra ji, once again for endorsing, reinforcing our belief that Hyderabad continues to remain, the mainstay for life sciences ecosystem. Continues to remain the vaccine capital of the world. Continues to remain a very, very strong center for bulk drugs, pharmaceuticals, and the overall life sciences ecosystem. And thank you also for enlightening us on all the new developments, especially on the mRNA front, the RNA front that you just spoke about. Thank you. Thank you for reinforcing our belief system, and also for continuing to support the government as well. Shubhajit, Mr. Samir, and Mr. Rambabu, and to all the dignitaries of the dais as well. Firstly, I'd like to thank Krishna and the entire team of CII for inviting me here, because I think every year when CII conducts multiple such events, it gives us a platform to talk to you, to understand from you, to learn from you, and also to kind of upgrade ourselves every so year, because I'm a firm believer in the theory. In fact, whenever I meet BVR Mohan Reddy Garu, he always talks about skilling, the one thing that he refuses to ever let go of. I'm a firm believer in one thing, sir. I think it applies to politicians, it applies to institutions, it applies to governments, it applies to students, everybody. Skill, upskill, reskill, I think, that's something that we can't do without. So every time I come here, I always learn something, I always pick up something, I always kind of try and, imbibe some of the positives and also some of the, drawbacks or limitations that get pointed out. In the last 6.5 years of Telangana's existence as a new state, I would say, of course, I have the fiduciary responsibility of only saying the good things. So therefore, I will blow my own trumpet and say we've done exceptionally well. In fact, when we started our journey about 6.5 years ago, I keep saying this, there were a lot of doubts on industrialization, the potential of Hyderabad, how the new government could do well, in the sense of ensuring that the momentum is continued. But within no time, within a very, very short span, in fact, today Telangana, wherever you go in the country, whoever you speak to, whichever industry house you speak to, without a question, remains one of the industry magnets, if investment magnets, if you ask me, in the entire country. Among the top 3 or 4 states that continue to attract investment, both domestic and foreign direct investment, we continue to rank right up there. We also continue to rank right up there in the top 3 on the ease of doing business rankings every year. And we continue to also reform ourselves. We continue to also push the envelope when it comes to bringing about policy changes that are dictated and that are kind of dictated by the market and guided by industry bodies such as CII. We've been growing the state economy at an annual average rate of 9%, and we've also achieved double-digit growth in the last 2 consecutive years before COVID. We wanted to obviously grow much faster, but as you know, COVID, not just COVID, but even before COVID, if you think about it, the overall situation, the overall economic situation in the country also wasn't very conducive. In fact, much before lockdown happened, let us remind ourselves, there was 8 quarters of 4+%, and then eventually it ended up in a lockdown, which resulted in a recession, and now we are seeing slow but steady signs of recovery. As I pointed out, there are some strong areas for the state. You know, when it comes to the state's sectoral performance, and where we have done well in the last 7 years and also prior to that, I think life sciences, of course, continues to remain one of the most important sectors. Healthcare, information technology, now of late aerospace, defense, logistics, textiles, food processing. These sectors, of course, continue to remain the mainstay. One of the sectors that I'm very pleased about, in fact, when Mr. Rambabu was speaking, I was saying to myself, they don't get as much credit as they should. The sector that really needs to be appreciated for their performance in the last 6-7 years particularly, and also several decades also, in the last couple of decades if you ask me. They are the second largest employer in the country today. After agriculture, the maximum number of people are employed by the construction industry. But unfortunately, they don't get their credit, as they're not really a focused industry as far as government sectors are concerned, as far as governments are concerned. But I must appreciate the way Hyderabad's construction industry, real estate industry has evolved over the last several years, and today they are able to compete with the rest of the country. Today they are able to, in fact, not just me, but institutions like JLL, CBRE, Cushman, all these property managers, they keep pointing out that Hyderabad's industry, construction industry, has been faring better than any other construction industry anywhere else in the country compared to any other metro city in India. So my compliments to the entire construction and real estate and developer fraternity as well. Information technology, as we all know, has been growing, and in fact when in 2013 and 14, when the new state of Telangana came into being, the IT exports from the state were about 57,000 crore plus. And today I'm happy to report to you, this fiscal, in spite of COVID, we are expected to grow at about 7% last year, and NASSCOM reports and even STPI is tentatively putting it at 1,40,000 plus crores, which is more than double in the last 5.5 years. That goes to show you that the government and the private sector, government can only be an enabler. Government doesn't really have a direct role in information technology, but it continues to remain an enabler. It continues to remain focused on emerging technologies. It continues to remain focused on policies that enable further investment opportunities. Technologies like AI, data analytics, IoT, cybersecurity, robotics, blockchain, drones, all of these continue to remain a big focus for Telangana government. Of course, gaming, animation, VFX, and the homegrown Tollywood industry here also, in fact, have been doing exceptionally well, and also the OTT platforms that have come up also have been doing very, very well, and a lot of content also is coming up from Hyderabad. On the digital front, in fact, we've said this in the past and we continue to maintain this, both infrastructure, literacy, digital literacy, continue to remain a priority for us, and the state government, in fact, is forging ahead with its T-Fiber project and also promoting digital literacy in our state. We also have continued to push information technology as a priority for not just Hyderabad, but also for Tier 2 towns. So Karimnagar, Warangal, Khammam, Mahaboobnagar, Nizamabad, and very soon Nalgonda, Ramgundam, Siddipet, all of these locations in fact. Today I'm happy again to share with you that a city like Warangal, which is the second largest in Telangana, has received a great deal of support from the industry. Cyient, a very prominent business house from Hyderabad, from Telangana, has agreed to our request, has opened a large development center in Warangal. My compliments to Reddy Garu and Krishna for that. So did Tech Mahindra, and so did Mindtree Consulting, which is an arm of L&T Group. All of them have set shop in Warangal. Now these are the big houses, and then there are the smaller startups, and then there are the smaller services companies, which also have taken space from the government, which also have done exceptionally well in the last few years. So I'm very excited about the possibility of pushing more and more services which can be done elsewhere outside of Hyderabad to those Tier 2 towns, so that we continue to provide employment for our local kids and local students in these Tier 2 towns also. Now, skilling, as I pointed out, continues to remain a priority. While Telangana Academy for Skill and Knowledge has been doing well, I think we could do a lot better, because now with the focus on sectoral skilling, for instance in life sciences, we continue to say that we are right up there with respect to vaccine manufacturing, with respect to pharmaceuticals. We still have the potential to create great deal of employment for our children. So therefore, skilling is an area which I'm very, very keen on to partner with industry bodies like CII to further the cause. On the innovation front, Telangana government has been known for its agenda to push Hyderabad as the one of the important innovation hubs in the country, if not the innovation capital in the country. Our T-Hub, T-Works, V-Hub continue to focus and continue to engage with the youngsters from across the country, and we continue to take pride in the kind of products and the kind of companies they have been able to produce and they have been able to create. In fact, recently 5 Hyderabad companies and their founders have made it to Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia for the year 2020, which is a matter of great delight for all of us. We also have been pushing, with increased agricultural production in the state of Telangana, with the focus of Honorable Chief Minister, 24 hours of free power to agriculture sector, increased godown capacity, improved yields, and with irrigation being a high priority for the government, we've been able to create more than 1 lakh crore worth of agricultural products from our state. I'm very, very proud of this. But what this leads to is, of course, a potential opportunity to invest in agro-processing, in food processing, and allied sectors. Our Honorable Chief Minister, in fact, has a great vision when it comes to food processing sector. He's in fact been promoting the cause of farmers, where they will be able to get a fair market price, and also the industry can benefit from the agriculture surplus from our state by way of creating food processing, special food processing zones. Now this is something I'm very upbeat about, and my department has been working together with the Agriculture and Horticulture Department in taking this cause forward. In addition to IT, life sciences, aerospace and defense industry also continues to grow in the state of Telangana. I'm proud that we have several marquee names working out of Telangana, and not just the large companies. In fact, we're equally proud about the SMEs in the aerospace and defense industry, who continue to be the suppliers, who continue to again make us proud by supplying to submarines in France, by supplying to the satellites that are sent by ISRO and other space agencies, and we continue to again grow in this area as well. But the one grievance, in fact, I do have, I was speaking to Krishna about it a while ago. Telangana has been, in fact, as I pointed out, a very progressive state, a state which has continued to encourage business, a state which has continued to focus only on getting the job done. Unfortunately, the kind of support that we have anticipated, the kind of support we have expected from Government of India in the last 6.5 years has not come about. Now, I'm going to be a bit blunt and I will speak my mind. And I think I'll have to use this platform also to appeal to Government of India to rethink on priorities, because we hear great slogans. We hear slogans like Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, Make in India, Skill India, Digital India. All these are great slogans. Without a question, the motive is very noble. But unless we work together, Honorable Prime Minister keeps saying Team India, but unless that sentence or unless that intention translates into real action, things will not happen. We say Make in India, but unfortunately we still are not really making in India. We are merely a country which assembles. We don't really manufacture much here. Let me just remind Government of India, particularly Piyush Goyal ji, Nirmala Sitharaman ji and Honorable Prime Minister, as to what promises they had made to the state of Telangana and to the state of Andhra Pradesh at the time of bifurcation of the erstwhile United Andhra Pradesh. We were promised, the industries in both states were promised special incentives to further, create employment opportunities for our youngsters in these two states. It has been 6.5 years. No special incentive has been given. No announcement has been made, even though it was embedded in the AP Reorganization Act. An act is statute. It's a law. And if Government of India does not honor its own promise made in the Parliament, who will? I think that's a question that needs to be answered, that needs to be addressed by Government of India. They have also promised, the previous Union Government, UPA, had announced information technology investment regions in the country. One in Hyderabad, one more in Bangalore, I think one more in Vizag, another one in Odisha. 6.5 years, no decision gets made. No discussion on whether or not they will move forward with ITIR. And eventually, the Honorable IT Minister comes for an election campaign here and then goes on to announce that it has been scrapped. In spite of our numerous requests, in spite of detailed project reports being submitted, in spite of the well-intentioned, well-meaning efforts from the state government, unfortunately, we have not received support. Had ITIR been grounded today, Hyderabad has been growing. Of course, we've been growing with the support of the local industry. But had ITIR been grounded and had central government invested more in creating infrastructure in our state, I think we would have created a couple more lakhs of employment at least. And we would have grown at a much more, aggressive pace. The central government also promised, as part of the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act, a steel factory, an integrated steel plant at Bayaram in Warangal district, erstwhile Warangal district of Telangana. Unfortunately, not an inch has moved in spite of multiple requests from our side. The central government also had promised a rail coach factory in Warangal again. In spite of state government submitting all the details, giving out more than the land that was required. 60 acres of land was asked for. We gave 150 acres of land. But unfortunately, again, they have decided not to take it up. I can go on and on. There are multiple such things where they've industrial corridors. We've been asking, nothing comes our way. High-speed rails, Hyderabad does not find its place. Bullet rail, unfortunately, it only goes through Gujarat. It starts in Delhi, goes to Bombay via Gujarat. South of India, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. Unfortunately, we don't seem to figure in the scheme of things. I can go on and on. We have requested for more electronics manufacturing clusters. The 2 manufacturing clusters that were sanctioned by UPA about 7-8 years ago are now to the brim. We want more electronic manufacturing clusters. Make in India bolne se kuch nahi hota hai. Jagah bhi banana padta hai, but they don't sanction. I can go on and on. In fact, some things are so silly. See, India talks of competing with China and the large manufacturing countries in the world. How do you compete with China? Unless you achieve economies of scale, unless you think on scale, you cannot compete with a large manufacturing country like China. Classic example is, in the recently concluded BioAsia, I met with a medical devices manufacturer. So I was talking to this gentleman and I was asking him as to where he manufactures most of his products. He said, sir, I don't manufacture anything in India. I merely import them from China. I put my label, I sell them in the market. I said, why would you do that? He said, sir, it costs me more to manufacture here than to import. Simple as that. Our import duties are ridiculous. It's a simple example. But the fact is, why are our import duties, why are our manufacturing expenses more in comparison to imports from China or another country, another large manufacturing country? That is because we don't think on scale. When we reached out to Government of India and when we told them that we would like to set up a large pharma park, largest pharma park in the world, in 19,000 acres, and when we requested their support, they are completely blindsided. They do not want to really take up a proposal seriously. I mean, they make all these nice statements. Self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, अच्छा slogan है. But उसके लिए एक भूमिका भी बनानी पड़ती है. उसके लिए कोई काम भी करना पड़ता है. It won't just happen by sloganeering. Make in India बोलने से नहीं बनता है. My appeal to Government of India is, please think on scale. Support governments which have acquired land. Telangana state has already acquired more than 12,000 acres of land for pharma park. Why will you not support us? Are we not part of India? यहाँ बनाने से make in Telangana, make in India नहीं होता है क्या? Just because you have a government which is not really in sync with you politically, that should not be the thinking. My request to Government of India is, in the interest of the nation, in the interest of the country, let economics supersede politics. Let us not take mere political considerations into sanctioning strategic projects. Hyderabad has a very, very strong defense and aerospace ecosystem. So I went and met the Honorable Defense Minister about 2 years ago. I requested her. I said, Madam, we have several large institutions in Hyderabad, DRDL, DRDO, RCI, and several others, defense establishments. There is a strong business ecosystem, strong, SME ecosystem. If a defense industrial production corridor is created between Hyderabad and Bangalore, it will really help the nation. But you know where it goes to? It is sanctioned to Bundelkhand, where there is no defense company. Because they have 80 parliament seats there, and Telangana and Karnataka and Andhra have, I think, less than 80. Now, these sort of posturings, these sort of decisions, which are driven by political compulsions, will not help our cause, will not help our country. A large pharma park is being created in Hyderabad. Support it. A large textile park is created, largest textile park in the country is created in Warangal. The state government has already done its bit. Support it. My request to Government of India is, instead of confining yourselves to lip service, I think put your money onto the promise of making India truly great, making India truly a country to reckon with in the larger scheme of things. I can go on and on, but I will only say one thing and I'll close. We have made great deal of efforts to reach out, to request, to work with them, to ensure that our state continues to grow, our businesses continue to grow. And I do hope that they will come forward. I do hope they will come and start looking at the various aspects, encourage a growing state, encourage a progressive state, and work with us. Even if that does not happen, I have no qualms. We've been doing well for the last 6.5 years with all of your support. We will continue to grow under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister. But if it does happen, and if Government of India also supports our initiatives, classic example, when Rakesh ji was speaking, I was thinking, Hyderabad is the vaccine capital of the world. We manufacture 35% of global vaccines in Hyderabad out of Genome Valley. But you know where the vaccine testing laboratory is? We have to take our samples from here, travel 1,200 kilometers to Kasauli, and get our samples tested there. What is the logic? What is the rationale? Can't we sanction a lab here? And does the state government have to plead with you, beg with you to get a lab sanctioned? Even in the middle of a pandemic? I don't understand this logic. So this sort of situation is something that we can very well do away with, especially when there are no elections around. I mean, अगली election तो 3 साल दूर है. अभी से क्या जल्दी है? तू मैं बहुत किया जा सकता है 3 साल बाद. तो मैं दरख्वास्त करता हूँ, विनती करता हूँ केंद्र सरकार में जितने भी बड़े हस्ती हैं कि आप इंडिया के हित में, आप देश के हित में आप सोचिए. और हैदराबाद और तेलंगाना एक ऐसी जगह है जहाँ से अच्छे इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट, अच्छे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स, बहुत सारे लोग उभर के आए हैं और बहुत सारा अच्छा काम यहाँ पे हो रहा है. थोड़ी सी अगर आपकी मदद मिल जाती है तो और भी हम तरक्की करेंगे, ये वादा आपसे करते हैं। और आखिरी में मैं यही कहना चाहता हूँ केंद्र सरकार से कि आप देश के हित में, टीम इंडिया के हित में आप जो बात करते हैं उस पर आप उतर आए, उस पर और मेक श्योर दैट you deliver on that promise and help the state, progressive state like Telangana, continue to grow with the support of the industry. Once again, thank you very much, Krishna and the team, for this opportunity.
Now we'll have the awards ceremony lined up. And I would request my colleague Satyaruna to kindly announce the Harita Haram Awards and recognition to the winners. Over to you.
May I request Mr. Anilipur sir to kindly come on to the dais, please, and Vanita Datla ma'am also, please.
Shri K.T. Ramarao Garu, dignitaries on dais and friends. Telangana Ku Harita Haram is indeed one of the excellent initiatives of our respected Chief Minister and of the Government of Telangana, which envisages to increase the present 24% tree cover to 33% of the total geographical area of the state. CII had the honor of partnering with the government in this green initiative and have collectively planted over 6 million saplings in the state over the past 5 years. I think this is the one single organization that has done the maximum green planting in the state of Telangana over every year. And this year, with the support of the stakeholders, CII has planted over 2 million saplings from the August to December 2020, even in these difficult times, and has a survival rate of about 85%. It's not just planting and forgetting, but looking after them to have a survival. So we would like to hand over the copy of the CII Harita Haram journey till 2020, which captures the journey over the past 5 years, monitoring of the success rate, and feedback from members. Today we will be presenting mementos to 17 organizations who have actively taken part in the initiative in the year 2020. There are two categories. The category one is those companies that have planted over 10,000 saplings. The category two is plantations below 10,000 saplings. We heartily thank each and every one who are part of this inspiring green journey, and we as a team look forward to continue to work closely with the Government of Telangana in building a greener and healthier Bangaru Telangana. As a son of the soil, I really appreciate the state of Telangana for its commitment to increasing our green cover, and I look forward to the support of all of you. Thank
you. May I request all the Harita Haram award recipients to come on to the dais from your left side, receive the award and leave from your right side, please. Request you all to be there on the left side of the stage, please. So we would start announcing the awards now. The first organization who would be receiving the award is Office of NSS JNTUH. May I request Director Professor Govardhan and his team to kindly come and receive the award, please. I would request all the audience to kindly applaud the team for their contribution for Harita Haram.